Okay, so we are moving right along to the solar plexus, Ra Oshun Energy Center. This is probably one of my favorites. So, if you have the workbooks, please open up to page 4 and we're going to jump right in. So, I want to start by asking you, who are you? Who are you? Aside from your name and what you do for a living and your titles, mother, wife, husband, who are you? Everything that distinguishes you from anybody else lives here in your third chakra, your solar plexus, your Ra, your Oshun energy center. You move, act, and get things done from the Oshun energy center. This is the home of your soul, the core of your confidence, the core of your personal power, and the core of your will power. A strong solar plexus causes your presence to stand out. People can feel your power and they can sense your strength and sense your self-worth because your presence is so powerful. So let's move right along to talking about, excuse me, the symbols and correspondences. I think this is on page 5 in your workbooks. So the location is the navel. It's located between the navel and the solar plexus. The element is fire. Function is the will and power. The inner state is laughter, joy, or anger. The outer state is a solid. Sorry for that typo. The glands associated with this energy center are the pancreas and the adrenals. Any physical manifestations of problems with this energy center might look like ulcers or diabetes or hypoglycemia. And we're going to talk more about all this later on. Just get this into your workbook so you can have a quick reference, okay? The color, of course, as we know, is yellow. The sense deals with sight. The vibration is Ram, or Ram as in father, Ram. The foods associated with the chakra are yellow foods and also starches. The corresponding verbs are I can and I feel. The incense and the herbs are cinnamon and marigold. Gemstones, amber, topaz. We're going to talk more about those later because that's just an abbreviated list. And the deities, of course, are Oshun as an African goddess and Ra in the Kemetic tradition. And I did not put the note. It vibrates with the note E, and that is at 508 to 526 hertz. And we're going to talk more about that as well. The solar plexus, Ra, Oshun Energy Center, and the page numbers are down at the bottom of the screen in case you're following along in your workbooks. So this energy center corresponds to the element of fire. Its purpose is transformation. In this chakra, we discover change within a thing itself. Change within a thing itself. Not to change your red shoes for your yellow shoes or this shirt for that shirt, but change as in from a solid to a liquid. Like water can change within itself from a solid form to a liquid form, right? So change within itself. So last week we talked about the sacred chakra. And the sacred chakra is where we begin to examine the extremes of duality, right? The extremes of emotions. This chakra, the solar plexus, is where we find a balance between those extremes. And it is where we learn to temper our desires, right? Direct our desires. Here is where we begin to take deliberate action. Deliberate action. So the sacral chakra, again, last week, is all about choices, right? That's our second chakra. The solar plexus, then, is about will. And will is the combination of mind and action. A lot of people have different definitions of what will means. But here, for our purposes, will is the combination of mind and action, a conscious combination of mind and action. So action creates heat, right? If you move at all, you create some type of heat. And that's why the third chakra is affectionately called the solar plexus, right? Makes sense. Aha. And it is why the corresponding deity is the Egyptian sun god, Ra. He is the sun god. Need we say more? And then there's Oshun. And Oshun is connected to destiny. Although she is the goddess of love and sensuality, she is ultimately connected to destiny, right? Which is why she resides where the will resides in our energy centers. Of course, she wears yellow, so that further validates that. So let's recap, right? The root chakra is about gravity, being grounded. The sacral chakra is about movement, right? When we begin to have desires and want to move toward those desires, right? Trying to make a choice between where we should move, right? And solar plexus is about energy. The what's created from that movement is energy, right? So chakras 1 and 2, right? The Geb chakra and the sacred chakra are about our physical bodies. But as we begin to move up and we approach chakra 3, the solar plexus chakra, we begin to incorporate more of our mental qualities. It is our center, it is our core, it is our gut. So when you get a gut feeling, pay attention to it. We have been taught so often in our culture to dismiss our gut feelings. Cut that out. Pay attention to your gut feelings. Okay. Our gut is our second brain. I'm going to say that again. Our gut is our second brain. The highest concentration of neurons, I'm not going to get too deep, but the highest concentrations of neurons beside the brain resides in our intestinal tract. So our brains have a lot of neurons, but our guts have the second highest amount. So a gut feeling is indeed another form of intelligence. It is intelligence at its best. It's intelligence that you can feel. So it is vitally important that we have a balanced Oshun chakra, right? So that we can be confident in our gut feelings. So the solar plexus is the seat of a healthy ego. We need an ego. Don't listen to all those experts that say otherwise. We need an ego. Your ego reflects your self-esteem. It reflects your self-worth. So how do you feel about yourself? When there's some work in your workbook to do around this, but ask yourself, how do you feel about this? And do you have a healthy appreciation of self? Really think about that. Okay. So your third chakra reflects your sense of self, your ego, and who you are in your own mind. It is about legacy and prioritizing your legacy. It's about bossing up, right? Bossing up and cultivating an attitude of success, Because I guarantee you will not be successful, or you won't maintain your success unless you have an attitude of success. So the Ra, solar plexus, Oshun is where your belief about your ability to be successful lies. It is where your belief about your ability to be successful lies. It's about understanding and accepting who you are. Although this is a lifelong process, the solar plexus chakra will strengthen your self-defined identity. Your self-defined identity, not the identity you got at birth and through your tribe, as is given to us in our root chakra, right? Not uh, going between choices as does happen in our second chakra. Here you self-define yourself. So this is a chakra that unfortunately most women never master, because this chakra requires us to be selfish. It is okay, people. It is okay, people, to be selfish, because self-care and self-development require selfishness. But self-care benefits those that we love as well, right? When we take care of ourselves, we're also taking care of everyone else. So in order to heal ourselves at this level, we have to examine our concept of selfishness and power. Power has to become an active verb rather than a noun. I'm going to say that again. Power has to become an active verb rather than a noun. So when you start to think about power, you need to think about having the power to rather than the power over. You have the power to do whatever it is you want, right? And the sun, this is power, right? You have the power to do that. In addition to your ego and your identity and your self-esteem, the third chakra is about personal power and yourself, personal power over yourself and over others. The amount of control you have over yourself and the extent to which you try to control others is a third chakra issue. Now, back to willpower. The solar plexus, or the Ra or Shun energy center, reflects your willpower and your ability to follow through with your commitments. Again, your ability to follow through with your commitments. We all know somebody who, for whatever reason, never follows through with what they commit to. They might start off with a lot of energy and excitement, or they might commit to just even hanging out for girls' night or whatever, and they don't follow through. That is a third chakra problem. Here you need to learn to finish what you start and do what you say you're going to do, and do what you intend to do. If you can't do that, then you have an issue with the solar plexus. If you aren't confident in your ability to make things happen, you are less likely to have the will to access your own willpower. The third chakra, the solar plexus, the Oshun energy center, is what sets you apart and makes you unique. This is why knowledge of self is so important, because it helps you figure out your purpose. You are uniquely created to create something. You are uniquely created to create something. Figure out what it is. If you want to figure out who you are, and if you want to do an original thing, you have to strengthen your third chakra, because it's all about individuality. That's what the third chakra is, all about individuality. So with our first chakra, we learn that working hard and getting our needs met lives there. Our second chakra is all about partying and fun and building relationships. That's where that lives. Uniqueness, a unique purpose, a unique path, and your path alone, your unique path, lives in the third chakra. Now, let's talk about criticism for a minute, because if you haven't addressed criticism, that you received in childhood or even criticism you received in adulthood that you bought into, it is still stored in this chakra. And it might be preventing you from becoming the individual you were designed to be. That criticism that you're holding on to. And listen, you might not even know you're holding on to it. That's why you need to start journaling. If you have the workbook, there's some exercises in there, some writing prompts for you to journal to. That's why you need to get the tools that God created for us to heal ourselves, right? Because if you have that criticism that you haven't dealt with, you're self-sabotaging, right? You're not becoming the individual you were designed to be. There's a good chance that's happening. The third chakra holds all criticism, and we've internalized most of it. So as a result, we don't know how to properly place approval, right? When we get somebody to give us a compliment, oh, well, I see this all the time. You look so pretty today. Oh, yeah, but my hair, I couldn't get my hair right. Oh, I love your outfit. Oh, yeah, it's just too tight on my belly. I mean, we can never just say thank you. We can't properly place approval. We can't properly place criticism or rejection. So this creates our self-concept and ultimately our self-esteem and ultimately our willpower. So we have to fix that. So let's talk about food. And we're going to talk about the healing foods later on. But each chakra vibrates with certain foods, right? But the way that we process food into energy happens here. The way we convert food into energy happens here. A good digestion, a healthy digestion, is a sign of a strong third chakra. So if you're having stomach issues, if you can't digest your food, if you get bloated or gassy or diarrhea or constipation, if any trouble you're having around digestion is indicative of a blocked third chakra. So that's the easiest way to know that, yes, boo, it's time to do some work around the solar plexus, Ra Oshun energy center. All right, so that was part one. We're going to dive into part two next week. Later on this week. So until next time, wishing you health and happiness, joy and peace, and wishing you all the very best in health. Next week, my bad, we're going to talk about psychological issues, physical issues, and how to heal the solar plexus Ra Oshun energy center. Until then, much love, family.